Howdy! Welcome! I hope your Monday is off to a great start. Thanks for joining me today. I'm glad you're here. You know, last week, Zoodealio had sponsored the BAM Mania, which I'm not sure if you follow Broke Agent media on Instagram, but they are a growing media company. And it's really interesting. They were started by two guys, and one of the guys, Eric, was basically a meme account creator. So he created funny real estate memes, and I'm sure you've seen them. Even if you don't follow them, you've probably seen some of his memes, and just absolutely kind of tapped into the meme culture, and then pulled real estate into it in a really funny, relatable way, and just started to have massive success and grow with that. And then Byron, who was, I think, probably one of the first real estate podcasters, and started his real estate podcast, had a really large team, just had tons of success in real estate. And those two came together and created BAM Media. And it is growing like wildfire. And I gotta say that I had the opportunity, even though Zoodealio was sponsoring and we had a booth and talking with a lot of agents, I did have the opportunity to sit in on the sessions and listen to the information that was being shared. And I've been to a ton of real estate conferences over the decades, Inman and brokerage conferences and all sorts of real estate conferences. And I will say that this conference, from a tactical perspective, was probably one of the best that I've ever been to. Of course, they focused a lot on social media because that is what they do, is a lot of media. They do a lot of social media. And so they focus a lot on the tactical of how to implement social media into your business and how to do it right and how to be more authentic in your social media content and all the things. And so many great takeaways. But one of the overarching themes in almost every keynote that was given and every panel and all of the things that were discussed, and they even brought in industry experts such as Rob Hahn, who was, the one talking about these lawsuits against NAR way before anybody else was, and basically saying like, hey, we're in for a seismic shift. And sure enough, as the years played out, we definitely did see the seismic shift. And everything of all of the things that were talked about, the overwhelming theme was that if we want to be in business in the future, we have got to become the best listing agents, the best selling agents for listings, the best marketers. And so I'm glad you're here today, because I believe that you are ahead of the curve. And I know a lot of you have been with Zoodealio for a long time. I would consider you founding Zoodealio members. A lot of you are. And I know that you believe in these principles and you understand the power of leading with a cash offer hook when it comes to getting listings. I'm glad you're here, because we're going to do a refresher today. And what I know to be true is that we have an advantage against the masses. And our advantage is when we're showing up to that kitchen table and we're having home selling conversations with sellers, we have different offers and options to help them accomplish their goals. And that is exactly what they want. So let me share my screen and I'm going to get started. And would love to know where you're listening in from today. Drop it in the chat. Give me a hi. Always love to see where you're at and where you're listening from. It's just really cool that we're so spread out across the U.S. and different markets, but yet we all uniquely share in this experience of, selling real estate and being a realtor. And but back to the conference, one other thing. Hi, Breckenridge. Oh my goodness. Breckenridge, Colorado. You are living the dream. That is amazing. Thanks for being here. Mark was at the BAM conference. Love it. Let's see. Right in my own backyard, Mark. Oh, okay. So you must be in the Phoenix market. Yes. Go Phoenix. Boston. All right. Awesome. Sumner, Washington. So kind of everywhere. Mark, you should have came up and said hi. I would have loved to have met you. Wasn't it a great conference? I mean, just so many tactical takeaways. It just so many things. Every presenter was like, here's my slide deck. You don't need to fill anything out to get it. Just scan this QR code and it's yours. I mean, so many valuable takeaways. I love it. Kathy from Johnson County, Kansas. Glad to have you. All right, I'm going to share my screen and I will get cruising with what I've got for you today. We're going to take a dive through the different offers and options that you have available to you to give your home seller. And I'm going to stop and give little practical takeaways throughout this as well, because as we say here at Zoodealio, it is not about the seller accepting the cash offer. It is about what the cash offer can do and the doors that it can unlock for you and your business. Home sales, definitely given 90s vibes. We are at a very low from a home sale perspective. If you're having success in your business this year, kudos to you. If you're even tracking what you tracked last year, nice work, because the reality is sales are lower and it is more difficult than ever. I really want to give you props and encourage you today because it is a tough market. There are very low home sales. What we know, though, is that there is a lot of pent-up seller demand. When will this demand come back? I don't know, right? Nobody really knows. We're all kind of guessing at what could happen, and if this happens, could it spur more home sales and activity? The reality is that we know that people are in homes that they want to change. They're going to have a life change. At the beginning of the year, we came out with our who's going to be selling this year, and we were pretty dead on. It's individuals that have life changes, and people will always have life changes. And so we're always going to see this activity happening no matter what. Is it going to go up? I believe it will, because I believe that people are in homes that are no longer working for them, and they're waiting for that moment to make a move. Maybe it's after the election when some uncertainty kind of dies down and there's more certainty for the future. We don't really know, but we do know that there is pent-up demand and it is coming. And what I love to do is look at what Google says when you type in sell my home and try this. It's really fun. And when you do that, what you're going to see is the autofill results. And the autofill results are what other individuals that are Googling sell my home also Google. And they Google sell my home fast, sell my house for cash, sell my house to Zillow. Zillow isn't even buying houses anymore, but it was imprinted in their mind, and so they're still thinking it. Sell my house and rent it back, right? So sell now, move later. Sell my house calculator, sell my house myself. Ooh, look at this one. Sell my house without a realtor. Sell my house to Open Doors. Sell my house online. So people are actively searching out ways to sell their home non-traditionally, if you will. Also, what we know is when NAR conducts their research and publishes their generational homes trends report, this always comes out on top. Sellers want to sell their home within a specific time frame. So when they do make the decision to sell, they've generally got a timeline in mind that they're trying to hit. And so because of that, we know that cash offer conversation is very compelling because they're trying to meet that timeline. There was also some data published from Clever. This was the iBuyer attitudes, or American attitudes on iBuyer companies. And what it revealed is that homeowners said that they would pay $45,000 to sell instantly and pick their close date. So they do place a value on certainty and convenience. And we do know that the top things sellers look for when they're selling their home, they say that they want certainty, they want speed, they want that home to sell quickly, and cash is very important to them. And so the cash offer conversations are very compelling. I love showing this because it just really, when you think about the magnitude of this statement, this was pulled from the shareholder letter from last quarter's Open Door results. And Carrie Wheeler, their CEO, revealed that in their iBuyer buy box, that 25% of sellers that sold on the MLS, had first requested a cash offer from Open Door. This is just Open Door. This is just one of the cash offer companies that exists. Yes, it's the biggest and it's prevalent, but there's also other companies that give cash offers. And so when you really think about this and put this into perspective, it's pretty incredible. It's, for me, what it shows is that it is the top thing that sellers kind of want, that easy exit, and they explore that first. And as we know, many times it doesn't work out. But then what happens is those individuals go on and they sell on the open market on the MLS. We also know that they would prefer to have the guidance and expertise of a realtor on their side. They want an agent to bring them these cash offers and these options. We know it was not too long ago that Opendoor settled a $60 million fine with the FTC for misleading home sellers on the value of their home. And I think that sellers kind of inherently know that if I'm going to accept a cash offer from a cash offer company, wouldn't it be a good idea to have an independent view of what my home is worth? And so they want you on their side. They want you to help them navigate those waters. Here is another insightful tidbit. You look at where we're at with lower transaction count, industry changes happening in the buyer commission space, and Zillow, their revenue, as they say, it continues to outperform the real estate industry. So what are they doing to have success, and what are they doing with sellers to have success? And if you look at their main funnel when it comes to sellers, it's the cash offer. So you can get that cash offer from Opendoor on Zillow, and oh, by the way, Realtor.com followed suit, and oh yes, Redfin has it as well. So all of the big guys, all of the top portals and these big companies, these billion-dollar companies, they use the cash offer hook to bring sellers into their ecosystem, and then they sell that seller lead off to an agent, or maybe they sell it off to an agent and also take a fee for that. But what we know is that they are using this cash offer hook to get sellers to raise their hand. Now, the good news on this is the acceptance rate on the cash offer is very, very low. Less than 5% of sellers accept a cash offer. And this data is a couple years old. I'm guessing it's probably even a little bit lower at this point in time. The beauty is many of these sellers go on to list their home on the open market within a very short period of time. And you may have heard me say some of these things before. I'm being repetitive for a reason. And the reason is we have a lot of new members on the call, and you may not have heard this information. And so I want to make sure that we're not leaving out valuable nuggets for you to hear and take away. And the cost to conversion cycle on a cash offer lead is very short. So meaning that the consideration phase is generally around 6 months. If you look at other leads, a Facebook lead could be a 12 to 18 months cost of conversion cycle. Maybe a Google lead might be a little bit better, but when they are soliciting that cash offer, it is typically a shorter time frame between when they look at the offer and when they list on the open market. So I really believe that this cash offer hook, it is the best conversion tool of all time. It truly does get sellers to raise their hand. And then now you're able to have very meaningful home selling conversations with somebody who's highly motivated and likely to sell their home in the really near distant future. So what happens when they submit for cash offers on your website? Now, keep in mind, there are many ways that you can get cash offers to your sellers. So one of the ways is through your cash offer landing page. You have your landing page. If they go in there and they type in their address, they're going to be in their offer dashboard, which is what you're looking at a sample of right now. That is one way. The second way is right from your agent dashboard. You can click the Get Cash Offers button. So let's say you're going on a listing appointment, or maybe you're prospecting, you're reaching out to expired listings. Maybe you're sitting at an open house and a neighbor comes in and they're curious about what their home is worth, and you want to get those cash offers for them as well, just to share with them that you have other offers and options available. So whatever the case may be, you can use that Get Cash Offers button right from your agent dashboard and get those cash offers immediately. Another way that a lot of agents are using Zoodealio is through Zapier. So maybe they're connecting their existing database through Conversion or Boomtown or FUB or wherever your database may be, and you're using a Zapier to get those cash offers generated from Zoodealio and zapping them back into your CRM. That is one way. And then, of course, you could be using the API. Maybe you're with another technology partner like Ylopo, and you're getting those cash offers through an API. And then now we have the fifth way, which is through the home report. So if you've not yet checked out the home report, you definitely want to do so, because the home report does have the cash offers being delivered up twice a month to your homeowner in the report. And the beauty is it's not the first thing that they see, right? They get to kind of peruse their value. They get to look at their equity position. They get to check out some cool rent sell calculators, that sort of thing. And the cash offers are just part of the value that you're delivering to them on a monthly basis. But if they should click the cash offer view details button on the cash offers, you will then, see that in your dashboard. We report that back to you, so you'll be able to see that they're looking at that there too. So those are pretty much the ways that sellers can get in and see these cash offers. Now, what I want to do is I want to quickly look at each cash offer option, give you kind of the pros and the cons and the breakdown, and then we're going to go through the fix it and list it option, and I'm going to do a breakdown step by step of how that works with you. All right, so I like to call it the easiest way to move, right? So when you're having these conversations, yes, we can also list your home on the open market. And as you'll see from the agent dashboard, you can enter that listing in so it displays. I went back again, but you see how we have list on the open market first. You can put your listing in there as well so that they can see what that listing looks like compared to the different offers. Okay, but when it comes to the all cash offer, the reality is, with today's market conditions and the cash offers that are coming through, they're very low. And these are cash offers that are from REITs, hedge funds, that sort of thing. And their offer amounts are really low right now. We have recently, I will say there's good news on the horizon. We have had a couple buyers for certain markets and certain buy boxes increase the offer amounts. So if you're in one of those areas, you may see slightly better offers. Because they can tweak it and they can change those in real time, essentially. And so that's good news. I'm expecting kind of my view, my limited view, I'll say, because obviously it's just my perspective and from what I see and from what I know. But I really do see that these will get better after the election, probably after the first of the year. But right now, you're going to see that cash offer is quite low. And because of that, you'll also then quickly realize and see that the other options tend to be better. And the other options that are better in today's market are the cash plus offer, which is a full market value cash offer, right? It gives that seller all the certainty and convenience of cash. It gives them that full market value offer. They only pay for a program fee. There's the sell now, move later. And I like to describe this as the cash plus offer with a flexible 12-month lease back. So they get that cash plus offer essentially, and then they're able to lease their home back on a month-to-month basis for up to 12 months. And then there's the fix it and list it. And what I really think is so beautiful about the fix it and list it for today's marketplace is affordability. As we know, it's just terrible. It's really difficult right now for buyers because home prices are high, interest rates are a little bit higher. And what that means is when they're out there shopping for a home, they want turnkey. They want just a home. They can bring their toothbrush, so to speak, and just move right on in. They don't want to deal with a home that needs a ton of work or needs a ton of repairs, especially at today's pricing. And so the fix it and list it option has been truly it's been incredible for a lot of sellers because it allows them to truly maximize the potential of that home. And I'm going to get into that and show you that, skin it out for you, and give you an understanding, of how it works. Because see, here's what I know. Even though the acceptance rate on these cash offers is very low, I want you to feel empowered and I want you to feel confident when you're having these conversations. And I also want to make sure that we go through the good and the bad because see, my heart and my desire is for this program to be fully transparent, for you as the agent and the seller as the homeowner to know all of the ins and outs and what's involved in this. So quickly, I'm going to just skim through pros and cons of each. I may have already shared a few of these on the previous slide. I got ahead of myself, but the cash offer, the pros, they get to pick their own closing date. They get to skip the showings and stress. Obviously, they don't have to make any repairs or updates. They just move the heck out. The cons is their below market value offers. And as I mentioned, they're really low right now. Couple markets have seen some improvement over the past 45 days, but in general, the cash offers are very low. Keep in mind also, I'm going to kind of just like do a pause here. Keep in mind also that if you work with investors and you want to add their offers into the platform, you can do that. And so if you have an investor that wants to make a better cash offer, you can add their offer into the platform as well. So I love that. Or if you're getting offers from other sources and you want to put them in there, you can do that. You can give them all of the different offers in one place and one easy to digest area. All right. The cons of a cash offer: they don't get to play the open market. They might leave too much money on the table. Okay, cash plus offer. The pros of the cash plus offer is it is a full market value cash offer, right? Whatever the home sells for on the open market is essentially what they're going to get. However, it's structured, so it's going to allow them to skip the showing, skip the stress. They're going to be able to sell on their timetable. And if the home sells for more on the open market, they get to keep that difference, right? It's a really neat program. The cons: it is a structured payout. So their proceeds are paid out to them over 2 transactions. When the buyer purchases the home, they get a portion. And then when the home sells on the open market, they get the disbursement of the reserve. And we're going to skim through that in just a moment. There is a program fee. So they're going to have to pay a fee to utilize this program. And by the way, the program fee is how the buyer makes their money, because they don't make money on margin on this offer. Another con is that first payout may not be high enough to cover and clear their mortgage and their liens. And this is one of the reasons why when you click finalize my offer, so if you're in the offer dashboard or that homeowner is in the offer dashboard and any of these numbers look good to them, they're going to click finalize. When they click the finalize button, it's going to take them through a sequence and it's going to ask them a couple questions. One of the questions is, what is your outstanding mortgage balance and do you have any other liens, right? Because that first payout is going to need to clear the mortgage and it's going to need to clear any outstanding liens. And then, of course, another con of the cash plus offer is maybe the home doesn't sell for as much as the seller was thinking, as even maybe you were thinking, or even we were thinking on the open market. And that does happen, right? And so we got to be aware of it. And I think that it's just information. It's that full transparent view. All right, sell now, move later. A lot of the pros are going to mirror the cash plus. However, with the sell now, move later, you get a couple extra pros in there. If the homes, or if they need the flexible lease back, they have that available. And I think that's the biggest pro to this program is there are individuals that want to move. They would love to just kind of have it be done now, but maybe they want to stay put for a few months. And this could be a good option for them. Now, I will say that on the cons, other than the ones we just discussed with the Cash Plus, the biggest difference is that premium rent. So a lot of folks are in their home at a lower interest rate, right? If you're at a 3% interest rate, and they're probably at a lower basis as well on that 3% interest rate. So their monthly payment's pretty low. And so then when it comes time to consider the sell now, move later, and they see that monthly lease amount, it's generally going to be even a premium on market rent. And so it could be a little bit of a sticker shock. And I will say that that's the feedback we get is, oh my goodness, the rent's a little bit high. It's just part of the program. So if it works for them, it doesn't work for them, it's just what it is. And so I like to be kind of upfront and share that. That rent amount will be returned to you along with the offer under the view offer details. So you are aware of what that premium looks like, especially if you know your market, you know your rental market. Another thing too is if you're using the home report, we are pulling in a rental AVM. And so you can have a quick at a glance of what that rental AVM looks like. Super fun. I was showing the home report to an agent at the BAM conference, and they were like, oh, can you add this property? And so I added another property to the home report, and they only wanted me to add it because they wanted to see what the short-term rental was. They wanted to get that AirDNA details on it. So that was kind of cool. Another neat feature about that is the short-term rental comparison. But I digress. Let me move on. So the fix it and list it. Now, again, A lot of the pros are going to mirror the cash plus. A lot of the cons are going to mirror the cash plus. The biggest difference with a fix it and list it, and in fact, if you've been with Zoodealio for a while, you'll know that we just used to call this the cash plus with repairs. And we kind of made it its own product because there are some benefits to the fix it and list it. And we wanted to really highlight those. One is when we do the fix it and list it strategy, that first sale can be at the higher amount because we're going to pay them out in consideration of the repairs being done. So it's kind of one of the cool benefits of the fix it and list it. But, truly they get to enhance that resale value of their home. So if their home needs just a little TLC, maybe has some deferred maintenance, or maybe they're in an area where the home needs to be updated and renovated in order to maximize that full market potential, this program is perfect for those individuals. They get to truly flip their own home. They get to sell for top dollar. They don't have to live in the home while it's being repaired and updated, which is a big nuisance. And so I find that to be one thing that's extremely beneficial to this program is the seller gets to move out. They get to get that first payout. So they get to move on to their next endeavor. They get to move on to that next home, whether they're buying or renting, whatever that looks like. And after they move out, those repairs take place. So it doesn't cause that life disruption that it would if they were the ones living in the home. I'd say that on the cons, a lot of them mirror the cash plus. Again, it's a structured payout with 2 sales. They do have to pay a program fee to be a part of it. The first payout may not be enough, so it may not even work. I'm going to put an asterisk on that, though. We've had sellers come to the table with a little bit of money to make these work, the cash plus, the fix it and list it work, because they saw the benefit of it and they knew that if they did that, they would have a greater end result and end return. So it can work if they have to come to the table with some funds, but typically I'd say that for the most part, that's usually a deal breaker. So I just wanted to add that little caveat there. A lot of nuances to these programs. And why I'm having this, why I'm taking the time today and going through it is because I really want you to be aware of the different nuances, of the ins and outs, of the good and the bad. And also too, if you are using the home report, one of the neat things that you can do with the AI is you can ask the AI, right? Like, what's good about this and what's not, right? Give me the pros and cons from your perspective. And the AI will break it all down, and it does a really great job at it. Okay, so unknown items may arise with repairs. This is one that I just want to bold and highlight for us for a moment, because this does happen, right? So maybe the seller is like, yes, I want to do the fix it and list it because I understand that the home needs to be updated, renovated, fill in the blank, whatever is needed with the home. And when the buyer then says, okay, and we're going to do that, and then they undertake that project, sometimes there are things that arise that were undiscovered. And in that circumstance, that extra cost of that repair, it does come out of the seller's reserve. And that's all delineated in the contract, but it's just something that we need to be aware of because the scope of the repairs, as you can imagine, when there's something unknown, it could increase a little. So keep that in mind. And then I want to kind of dive through the fix it and list it and give you the step-by-step of exactly how it works. I have a breakdown here in a moment, and then I have a cool success story of a home where the seller didn't have a smashing, crazy home run, but they definitely made more money using this program and were able to then bring a beautiful redone home to the market. All right, so with the fix it and list it, it gives the seller all the certainty and convenience of a cash offer. It allows them to flip their own home. It allows them to benefit from all of that enhancement value that was made to the home. And here's how it works. Really, there are 3 steps to this process. So number 1 is that full market value cash offer. So when you see that offer in your dashboard, it is designed to be a full market value cash offer in anticipation of the repairs being done, keep in mind, right? And so when you see that offer, the biggest piece of advice I can give you is if it seems too high or too low, you got to communicate that to our offers team. We need to know about that. Number two, how do we do this? We do this through a reserve. So a portion of the seller's equity is set aside until the second closing in order to hedge against what that home may sell for, and in order to allow the buyer to operate this program for a fee. And then the fees are very transparent. There is a program fee, there is an agent commissions and resale closing costs fee, and then there will be repair costs on the fix it and list it as well. Let me break this down even further. So the full market value cash offer, keep in mind when those offers are returned, it's a preliminary offer. You click that finalize button. Once you click the finalize button, it's going to take you through a series of questions. If we have photos on hand, we're all set. If we don't have photos on hand, that is something that we're going to need from you. We get asked all the time, what photos do you need? And what we need is essentially a photo of the front, the back, and every interior room. And when it comes time to the interior rooms, I say take an angle where you can see all three of the four walls if possible. And if you can't, then take 2 shots of the room. We don't need like serial numbers on AC units or close-ups of what the appliances are, unless, and I'm going to give you an unless here, unless you think it's special and good to know, right? So like for instance, if the AC units were just replaced, then by all means, let us know. You can use that by telling us in the description. You can reply back to the email that you get. You can take a picture of the AC unit. So all of those things. So if there has been something that you really want us to know, good or bad, let us know, right? Even if it's bad. Like let's say, there is some black substance growing somewhere and we need to be aware of that. Let us know. Again, this is designed to be a full market value offer after the repairs are made. So we're trying to shoot at what the home will sell for in anticipation of the repairs. If you don't agree with the valuation, this is where we need your communication. The underwriting team does a really good job of sourcing and showing you their comps. And so they'll give you that information for you to see what they're looking at. And then they also give you the opportunity to provide any additional comps that maybe they didn't see. So it's a collaborative effort on this. We want to hit it right. As you can imagine, with the structured sale, it's critical we do. If we overshoot the number, that doesn't do the seller any good, because then what's going to happen is the difference between what it ultimately ends up selling for and that first offer amount, it will be deducted from the reserve. And so it doesn't do them any favors. If we undershoot the number, it doesn't really do them any favors either, because then their first payout is too low and they could have gotten more on that first payout. So we are truly trying to hit that number and get it right. All right, the reserve. What is the reserve? So the reserve is the structure that allows the buyer to make the full market value cash offer. And it's a portion of the seller's equity, and it is set aside until the second closing, and it is returned to the seller based on what that home ultimately sells for, right? So again, as I just mentioned, this is why getting the price right from the get-go is super important. And it's also why, and I gotta say, I've got to get a shout out, because see, here's what's happening. What I'm seeing is agents are doing a phenomenal job of marketing the homes once it's relisted and back on the market. And they're doing everything that they can to make sure that that home is positioned well online. They're doing things like virtual staging. They're doing things like making sure that the floor plan is included. They're doing the 3D tours. If appropriate, they're adding drone photography. And so I've got to give a shout out to you guys for doing an excellent job of making sure that the home looks amazing and it's positioned well. But yeah, the goal is to get all of the reserved, if not more, returned to that seller, right? Because it's great when we can smash it and have a home run and have that home sell for more on the open market. And then the program fees are 6% for the program fee. And I'm going to asterisk this because it can vary depending on the property, depending on the days of market, depending on the risk the property presents to the marketplace, depending on the price of the property. So if the price, if it's a really high price property, it might be a little bit more. On the flip side, it might be a little bit more if it's a really low price property as well. So keep that all in mind. And we get a ton of questions on, what buy boxes the fix it and list it works for. And the buy box is ginormous. And essentially if you've got a home and it does not work for manufactured, I'd say that that's kind of an eliminator. So if it's a manufactured home, it may not work. But pretty much everything else, we did have a home come through in Boston, and it was about a $12 million home with very, very limited comps and extremely unique. And the buyer passed because they were just unable to feel confident about what that home would actually sell for. But I will say, though, that it goes up. I mean, we've done multi-million-dollar homes, but that was just a recent one that was eliminated because it was, a $12 million home and weren't really sure what the resale value of that home would look like. But the fees, there they are, program fee 6%. The resale closing cost fee is 5.5%. So I want to share with you how the 6% works, because there are other cash offer companies that do a similar structure to this. And a lot of the fees that those companies charge that homeowner are not included in the program fee. And with our program, they are included. And so this 6% fee, it's how the buyer makes money. It's their cost of capital, right? However, they also are going to include property insurance, property taxes, HOA fees, water, sewer, trash, electricity, gas, and their property maintenance during the resale time frame. So pool service, landscaping, interim cleanings, all of that is included in the program fee. So if you're comparing other offers, this is one that I would really like you to take a look at, because other companies have a waterfall section in their contract, and these fees are not included in their program fee. And so this is a big savings. This essentially, once you take into consideration all of these fees, this means that the buyer's margin on this sale is just a couple percent. And so it's a really great program. The buyer is facilitating an idea, and the idea is that there is an easier, better way to give cash offers to consumers and to really help them have the easy exits and options without losing margin on their sale. All right, the 5.5% agent commissions and resale closing costs, it covers your commission on the first and the second sale and the closing costs on the second sale. Now, a huge program benefit is you get to keep the listing. Us listing agents know that for every listing we take, we're going to get 1, 2, 3. You know your numbers. You know how many other sides of business you're going to get from that one listing. And so when you have a home seller that is considering a cash offer option, it is such a benefit to you to be able to keep that listing so that you can get more business from that listing, have your side in the yard, send out all of the things that you do to your sphere, to that neighborhood, to whoever. But yeah, so you get to keep that listing after the buyer purchases the home from the seller. They will execute that listing agreement with you to resell the home. There is a resale marketing plan that both the seller and you as the agent and the buyer all sign and agree to, kind of setting forth the rules of engagement, if you will, setting forth everything that's going to be done, setting forth the pricing strategies, setting forth the price reduction strategy, all of that great stuff. You are paid 2% when the buyer purchases the property from the seller, and you're paid 2% on the second sale. So you get paid twice. It's pretty cool. And you get paid 4%. So it's pretty cool as well. With the buyer broker, if the buyer asks for their buyer agent commission to be paid for in the offer, it will be negotiated on, just as a buyer closing cost concession will be negotiated on as well. All right, so here is the differentiator between the cash plus and the fix it and list it, and that is the repair strategy. So during the inspection period, and I'm going to back up a little. Even if you have a seller that accepts the cash plus and the buyer goes in and does an inspection and feels like there are repairs or renovations that can be made that will enhance that resale value, they're going to present those options to the seller at that point in time anyway. And so it's not only exclusive to the fix it and list it flow, if you will, but with the fix it and list it, here's how it works. So during the inspection period, the buyer will propose the repairs that can be made to enhance that resale value. Along with that proposal will be an estimate of the cost of those repairs. And so the seller is able to have an eyes wide open look at what the repairs that could be made are and what those costs potentially are as well. Now, this repair cost, let's say the seller agrees to it, this repair cost is deducted from their proceeds at closing. They pay for the repairs. And I just want to make that really clear because we get questions about this all the time. We also get another question like, wait, isn't it just deducted out of the reserve? No, it's not deducted out of the reserve. The reserve is the buyer's risk assessment. It's their hedge, if you will. And so the repairs would be in addition to that reserve. So I want to do a breakdown and kind of go step by step and show you how this skins out, right? Because again, I think it's really important that we all understand how it works. It is our intention here at Zoodealio for us to empower you with all of the information on all of the different offers that come through from our platform. And so I want to take a moment and show you exactly how this works. So the first payout, let's say the offer amount is $500,000. There's a 6% program fee that's coming off the top. Then there is the 5.5% agent commission and resale closing costs. That is also coming off the top. In this circumstance, let's just say it was a 10% reserve. That's $50,000 coming off the top. And now let's say that the seller agreed to the $50,000 repair strategy. That's also coming off the top. And so their first payout, less their mortgage, their liens, their other customary closing costs in their market, would be $342,500. Okay, so $342,500 would be their first payout. Now, there's that reserve that's $50,000, and how is that dispersed back to the seller? And I'm going to show you that there really only are 3 different scenarios in which the reserve is returned to the seller. So in the first scenario, we hit it right on. We pat ourselves on the back because we were just dead on. The home sells for exactly what the home was purchased for. So the home sells on the open market for $500,000. In this scenario, their second payout would be all of the reserve returned to them, which is $50,000. Scenario number 2. Scenario number 2 is the home sells for less than the original offer amount. So in this situation, home sells for $490,000 on the open market. And in this situation, the difference between the original offer amount, which was $500,000, and what it sold for, $490,000, is $10,000. So that $10,000 would be reduced from the $50,000 reserve. And so the remaining portion of $40,000 would be dispersed back to the seller. So the last scenario, really the third scenario, because I say it only shakes out one of these 3 ways. And the third way, and of course this is the way that we would all love to see it every time, is the home sells for more on the open market. And so in this scenario, the home sells for $510,000 on the open market. And in this scenario, all of the reserve, $50,000, plus the upside of the open market, $10,000, would be returned to the seller, and they would receive their second payout of $60,000. So that's how the math, that's how the numbers break down. And by the way, if you're listening and you're going I'd love to get a copy of this, these slides and have this for reference, I am happy to send them to you. You can either email me directly. It's my first name, Kayla, K-A-L-A, there's no Y, at Zoodealio.com. Or if you get this on the replay, just reply back to the email that you received this from, and we will happily get you these slides. All right, so the next thing I just want to show you is what's possible with the Fix It and List It, because I think it's a game changer. And I'm really passionate about bringing different solutions to our homeowners and empowering us with these really high-level conversations. So here was a home in Durham, North Carolina. And before, it was just kind of tired and dated. And as you'll see, the buyer purchased the home. There was a repair strategy. there were like furnace issues and some things wrong with this home that you couldn't see that really would have impacted value, but also cosmetic as well. So here was the before, and on the after, it just got a fresh new coat of paint, some landscape cleanup, and just looked so much more alive and just vibrant. Before, inside was dark and dingy and old carpet and lots of stuff, really crowded, not too big of a home. And after, it just looked fresh and updated and modern and alive again. So again, before just kind of drab and dingy, and then after just open and bright and fresh. Kitchen before, lots of wallpaper, just kind of like your run-of-the-mill average kitchen. But there were some lingering behind-the-scenes issues in this home as well that we were able to take care of through the Fix It and List It strategy. And then after, it was just a beautiful new kitchen, again, just ready to go, ready for that new owner to just move right on in and enjoy use of this home and truly have a freshened, lively home brought to market. So again, just all the difference, which, as you know, these things can make such a difference. Kitchens, bathrooms, flooring, paint, all the things that buyer sees just make such a difference in the price that they're willing to pay for a home, especially considering today's environment where affordability is just through the roof and interest rates and prices are also elevated. So there were electrical repairs done, roofing repairs done, and then, of course, a lot of cosmetic, new kitchen, new bathrooms. There were $65,000 worth of repairs made in this home. So there were some, substantial repairs made in the home. The as-is value was $230,000. The beautiful thing is the home sold on the open market for $339,000, which was a value increase of $109,000. And I want to break this down for you so you kind of get the totality of this. So this seller was able to accept a cash offer. They were able to get their first payout. They were able to move out. And then that home resold. And even if you deduct the program fee that they paid, and the program fee is charged on the higher sales price, so that worked out to $20,340, and you deduct those repair costs, the seller still pocketed almost $24,000, so $23,605 extra by using this repair strategy, by taking a chance on what's possible in their market, their agent knowing that a rehabbed, beautiful home would sell really well in their market, and all of the things culminated together for a really neat experience, and they made more money. So really cool success story that I wanted to share with you today and show you what is possible, what you have access to in your arsenal. Will every seller want to explore or accept a cash offer option? No, absolutely not. But do I believe that you need these offers and options to be relevant in your marketplace? Yes, I am adamant 100% that you do. So that's what I have for you today. I'm going to take a quick look. We've got a few. Yes, Kathy, my deck is available. Either send me a quick email or we'll reply back to the email when you get this and we'll get that to you. Oh, this is a good question. Connie Martin, thank you for this question. It's a wonderful question. If the house sells for less on the open market, is the seller responsible for the difference? Up until their reserve. But if there's a property and it sells for even less than the reserve, no, the seller is capped at the reserve amount. Hey, thank you all for your time today. I hope that you go out there this week, have a lot of home selling conversations. And if you should have any questions for us here at Zoodealio, we are here to serve and support you in your business. Reach out. We would love to help. Have a fabulous week, and I'll see you back here in a couple weeks.